Sergeant, all of your years' experience, have you ever entered a scene that's mysterious? Yes, yes. You're presented with a scenario in a scene, and then you have to figure out what happened. But guess what? You don't do it alone. There are many professional investigators. And I mentioned once they responded to this scene, they would have immediately called the crime scene unit, right? First the detectives, then the crime scene unit. And they would do all the things that investigators do. And crime scene unit would forensically process this scene. They would photograph, videotape, take measurements, take note of where things were, take note of things like pill bottles that were spilled over. How does that look? Why did that happen, right? And then once the crime scene unit is done with their measurements, they're taking perhaps samples, if there's anything that appears to be blood anywhere, checking to see if there are any areas that could have been forced entry, and photographing and videotaping everything. Then the medical examiner's office comes to the scene. And I mentioned an investigator called a medical legal investigator, who in most jurisdictions are physician's assistants. And they process the bodies on the scene, which includes checking the bodies for wounds, taking the temperature of the body, and doing all checking, of course, for rigor mortis, algor mortis. In this case, they were in extreme state of decomposition, which was mummification. There's something before mummification, I think, is called putrefaction. So they could have been dead as long as 2 weeks. And I'm not an expert on scientifically predicting time of death, but the medical legal investigators have a much better handle on that than I do. The medical legal investigators will accompany the bodies to the medical examiner's office and take part, or at least observe, the autopsies and report to the pathologist what their findings were on the scene, what they saw on the scene. Because a pathologist may look at even the colors of your hands, the colors of your fingernails. Sometimes that's indicative of a certain type of poisoning. But I don't want to jump the gun on this because I don't know. And no one knows right now. And more sophisticated tests will have to be performed than just looking at someone's hands or looking at the state of decomposition or looking at the temperature of their body. Because in this case, they were dead for a long time. It's maybe a week to 2 weeks. So temperature, I don't know. Ocean Girl 505 from the chat. In that gated community, your neighbors' homes are not right next door. Seeing when they last picked up their mail is vital. Yes. Yeah, but a lot of people don't pick up their damn mail often. You can pile up inside the mailbox, right? Randy Tolan, front door ajar is suspicious. Randy, under normal circumstances, I would agree with you. But in some neighborhoods, people don't lock their door, and they keep their doors open. And I don't know how much land Mr. Hackman had surrounding his house. It may have been several or numerous acres of land. So many people feel very safe in certain communities in this country of not locking their doors or even keeping their doors open. I know for most of us, it sounds crazy. Veronica, this is so fishy. Veronica, I think what I would say is it needs further investigation. I'm not ready to say there's foul play. I'm not ready to say it's fishy, but sure that we make sure that we do everything. We cross our T's and we dot our I's, and we make sure that everything is copacetic and we do everything by the numbers. And that is so important. Where's Nina? Everyone's different, I guess, but yes, I know people try to talk every day or two. Moth's mummy, double self-termination, if she ended him and then herself. Moth's mummy, I don't think there's really indications of that. The positioning of the body, many things investigatively that doesn't seem like it's really that something like that occurred. So again, it's just a tragic situation. And we're gonna have to wait to see what in fact is the cause? What was the cause? And this will all be done, and I don't want to say it ad nauseum, by science. We have to wait for the science to come back and tell us what happened.